Hey everyone, thanks for joining me in the Great White North for another February Plan With Me video. Yes, you've heard that right. This is the second Plan With Me that I'm putting out for February. Sometimes January can be a bit of a weird month for me. I find that I can go through these weird frazzly moments, and this second Plan With Me was a result of that. So I made this more simplistic spread just in case I wanted something a little less complicated, and I figured I'd share it with you guys today. Right now I'm making my cover page for February. I've always wanted to do cover pages, but I've always been a bit cautious of how time consuming they can be. So my way of trying to remedy that is doing this cover page where I just letter the name of the month in the center, and as the month progresses I add my floral doodles so that by the end of the month I have a beautiful full page, and it's like this little garden. And the great thing about it is I can kind of do it when I feel like it, and it's not something I have to do all the beginning of the month, which is really nice. Once I flip over that page, we come to my monthly calendar and my monthly goal spread. I'm such a big fan of the original calendar by Ryder Carroll. This is the vertical calendar he shows in his monthly log, where you just write the month all the way down the page. I added a line on the right side of my numbers just to kind of give it a bit of separation, and then I decided to write the words February 2020 in just a classic cursive. This is my go-to cursive. In order to add a little bit of decoration but still keep it minimal, I decided to add this nice pointed leaf floral illustration. I am new to floral illustration, but all of the florals that I've learned to draw have come from watching Shada Campbell's videos, so I'll make sure to link her below because she's a super sweet channel to check out, especially if you want to learn to draw. So I'm just finishing up this branch here, and then I'm going to go into my goals spread. I decided to put my goals page on the other side of my calendar because I never really know what to put on the other page of my calendar. I tend to only need one page, so I'm always a bit confused as to what to use the second page for. This month it's going to be just a little area for me to list out some of my goals for the month, and we will see how that works out. I'm kind of thinking that after these two different setups for February, I'm gonna find what I like in both of them and kind of mash it up for March and come up with this nice little hybrid that's more of a middle ground for me. I'm actually a very lazy bullet journalist. I really don't like doing spreads that take me a long amount of time, and I like to do spreads that I know I can recreate every month without taking a lot of time. So that is something that's really important to me and that I was able to achieve with this setup, which I was really happy about. On the other side of my calendar, I'm making my monthly task list and notes page. I like to use my task list to keep track of tasks I have to do throughout the month, as well as upcoming due dates I have for grad school. I am a graduate student, so keeping track of due dates is a really important way for me to just stay on top of all my stuff and make sure that I am on my game when it comes to getting all my assignments done. I just wrote the word due dates on half the page, did a little line to kind of section that off, and then I'm drawing this branch on the left-hand side because I tend not to need an entire half-page column for my task list, since most of my tasks are usually weekly and that falls into my weekly spread. But if I have a task that I want to record for the month or for a day in the month that hasn't come yet, I do like to write it here. So I just wrote the word task. I decided to add another branch just for fun, I guess. And I actually tried something a bit different with my task list. I wrote weeks 5 through 8 on the left-hand side, and I'm going to use that in order to mimic the Alistair method for writing my task list. I'll link a resource on the Alistair method that explains it a little better. It's definitely something I've been getting into and really enjoying these past couple of months, so I would recommend checking it out. Alright, and the next spread that I am making is a habit tracker. I use the word habit tracker very loosely because I tend to use it to track things that may not necessarily be considered habits. This includes stuff like my plants, when I water them. If you're a bit confused why I'm writing the names of characters in Lord of the Rings, it's because I name all my plants after characters in Lord of the Rings. Hence the name Legoleaf and Gandalf, which is short for Gandalf the Green. In addition to making sure my plants stay alive by knowing when I water them, I also like to track some health things such as my workouts, when I stretch by doing a myofascial roll sesh, and I'm not going to explain the third one, but if you know, you know. And of course, I do like to track actual habits. Yes, actual habits, we got there. I like to track when I floss, when I journal, when I read, and I'm trying to complain less because it's important to appreciate what you have and be grateful. So that's something I'm working on this month as well. I am just finishing this off by lettering the word habits in the corner so that I know this is my habit tracker in case I can't get that from looking at the giant tracker in the middle of the page. And of course, just to tie everything in, I'm bringing in this really minimal floral doodle with these nice pointy leaves and fun little stems that are kind of coming out from the side. I really like this floral. It's really easy to do. The trick is just making your leaves look relatively similar and creating variation in when you do a leaf versus a giant branch and that kind of stuff. So I'm just adding one more leaf on the side just for good measure, and that is going to be it for this spread. So looking over everything I've done, I have my cover page, my goals and calendar section. I have my monthly task list according to the Alistair method, as well as my due dates. The right side of that page is just for notes. I leave it blank because I don't really need anything else there to know it's for notes. And then for my habit tracker, I plan to make a dot underneath the day when I accomplish that habit, which is what you just saw now. So the last spread that I'm going to do is my monthly project spread. I do really apologize for the graininess. I accidentally put my camera into slow motion mode. I don't know how that happened, but it did, and it got really grainy because of it, and I had to speed it up to like 2000%. But we're still gonna work with it. I think it's salvageable, and I'm gonna explain to you guys how I like to track my projects. So as a graduate student, being able to know how multiple projects are gonna get done and meet their deadlines is super important. I tend to have at least 2 to 3 projects due every week in grad school. So in order to make sure that I'm actually finishing those projects on time, I like to have this spread where I can just do a little timeline of when I want to get things done for my projects and kind of see, according to my other projects, what's overlapping and the progress I'm making on each individual project, as well as all of my projects collectively. I figured, why not draw another floral just to add a little bit of that theme in the spread, and why not add another one in the corner, because 2 is a party. We love some symmetry. This spread is one that I may not continue in March. I found it really helpful in December when I had a lot of stuff going on, but I don't think this month I really have used it a lot. So here's a flip through of all the spreads I did. I hope you guys enjoyed this setup and this style. Let me know if you watched both Plan With Me's, which video you preferred, what style you preferred and why. I'd be really curious to know that actually, and I'm really excited to kind of take both of these Plan With Me videos and merge them into something even better for merch. I have some stuff that I've figured out and I'm really excited to show you guys. So that is going to be all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you here in our little family up in the Great White North, and I hope you enjoyed this Plan With Me. If you have any questions about anything I used, make sure to check the description box, but in case I forgot to include it, I will also let you know down in the comments, and I will see you next time, guys.